This is Worldwide Flava Network. Coast to coast and worldwide.
Hmm? Good evening, good evening, good evening. I'm back. This is Tony Reed, Tony Reed Fitness Management, your health coach and fitness trainer. Good evening. Tonight we're going to talk about fitness. I have no guests. It's just me and my engineer.
Hey, you
How
guys,
are
it's
you? How you
Tanika
doing?
from Anika Tells
Good.
All.
All right. So you get to ask a few questions, so we can talk about it.
Worldwide Flavor
Okay.
Network. See you
All right.
then.
So we're going to talk about fitness tonight. Everybody's been asking, well, what about fitness? We hear you talk about fitness, and we know that you do this and all of that. So I'm going to talk about getting in shape for the summer. I know it's about to be October, and you're thinking like, well, what about just the new year? No, it's about time to get in shape for the summer. So this is when you want to start. Don't call a personal trainer in May and say, well, I want to get into that swimsuit for the summer. It is now the time to start. But let me take you through some things that you need to understand when you start thinking about getting in shape, starting to work out, starting to go through your change of life, and change of lifestyle. First and foremost, the reason that most people succeed at getting in shape is because first they put fitness into their schedule, meaning that when you go through your day, you have to look at what you have on your schedule, what can happen in your course of your day, and schedule at least 30 to 45 minutes per day to fitness. Now, most people say, well, why per day? Because it is a daily activity, just like shower, you want to go work out every day because your body needs that to function if you're going to change your lifestyle, just like you're going to change your eating habits along with that. And eating habits I'll get to in a minute because that's a whole nother 80% of the process for most people who don't understand fitness. But let's first of all look at your schedule. If you know that you're not a person who gets up at 5 a.m. in the morning, don't start off saying that's what I'm going to do unless you tried it a little bit. Because, first of all, you have to just wake up in the morning and get out of bed. That would be your first week just to start thinking about it. So, if you can get up at 5 o'clock, get out of bed, and stay out of bed for 30 minutes, then you can go work out at 5 a.m. in the morning. The second step for working out early in the morning is you have to lay your clothes out the night before and you have to have everything ready so that you're not getting up, running around looking for something early in the morning. The third thing is making sure that you have something that you can put on your stomach before you go work out. And I know most people will say, well, I don't eat that early in the morning or I can't eat that early in the morning. And sometimes it is true that you can't do that. But sometimes you have to put something on your stomach, especially if you didn't eat, say, at 6 o'clock the day before. Then you want to put something on your stomach. You want to bring some water, bring something with you to make sure that you have been hydrated. The next thing about getting in shape is choose an appropriate activity that fits you not only physically, but age appropriate. A lot of people call me and say, well, I want to do this type of workout. I want to that type of workout. But if you've had, say, back problems, knee problems, shoulder problems, there are certain exercises that you're not going to be able to do. And there's certain things that you're not going to be able to function with. So don't run into the gym thinking, okay, I'm going to do this, 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 and this, and it's not appropriate based on your physical activity. So that brings me to the third way of getting in shape. Choose a personal trainer. Now, why choose a personal trainer? Because I watch so many people go into a gym and they claim that they're working out and they only use 4 or 5 machines each time they go. Why? Because they're probably the only machines that they can understand, or that's all they've seen, and they say, well, I like that machine, and they walk in, and you're only working four muscles in your body. Does it help? Some days it does, but if you're working the same muscles every time that you go, you're more than likely not going to see any results. Any questions?
I mean, that was really, really good. That was a good, thorough one down. So, explain to me. So, if somebody wants to get ready now for spring, summer 2020, because this summer was hot girl summer, right?
Right.
Give me a couple of like suggestions for guys, a couple of suggestions for the ladies, and also give me, this is like kind of special.
Okay.
Give me some suggestions for maybe someone that has mobility issues or maybe is a little older.
Well, let's start with the guys. First and foremost, guys, you have to go work out. The majority of the time, I walk into a gym, I see a lot of women. Guys try to tend to stay in one sort of muscle group, but you need to change it up. You need to go in and get instructions, learn how to do certain things, because a lot of times guys tend to stay just one muscle group. So how do they get started? First, go in and have someone walk you through the gym, or go to a personal trainer and have him show you what you need to do to get ready. That's the first thing. Same thing for women. Women have a tendency to want to go in and work their legs and not work any other body parts. Find a personal trainer who says, okay, look, I want to show you how to work your full body. Now, if you have any mobility issues, what should happen is that when you meet with a personal trainer, which is very important, is that the personal trainer is going to do an assessment on you. And you want to be very honest and upfront about anything that is happening with your body. If you have any problems with, say, dizziness, or let's say that in the past that doing certain exercises where your head may be tilted back too far or you're leaning over, then you want to make sure that you communicate that to them. If you have any knee problems or recent broken bones or sprains or anything like that, you want to communicate that to them also, because what happens is people will come in and say, oh yeah, I'm in shape and I can do this and I can do that. And then without the assessment, a trainer without the assessment, you should never be trained.
Yeah, because what ended up happening to me was I was working with a trainer and I ended up with shin splints.
Okay.
Because the training was too high impact for my body weight.
Now, did he start you off with light walking, or did he start you off with just or straight running? What did he take you into?
Weight training.
Weight training?
Straight, yeah.
Okay.
Straight. We did that. We did treadmill. We did elliptical, but even that was too hardcore for me. Mm-hmm. And I ended up with a shin splint that was super painful. Okay. And I know that's minor to the major stuff that could happen, but also I had prolonged soreness that would actually extend further than what would be the standard or normal time. So I didn't really know how to, although I bounced back from the shin splint, it was tough on me.
Here's the other thing about that with the shin splints too, is that when you decide that you're going to go work out, it's also important that you start looking at the clothing that you're wearing, and the equipment or anything that you're going to wear. If you need to wear a back brace, if you need to wear knee braces, also if you need to change the sneakers or the shoes that you're wearing, because what happens is a lot of time people will come to the gym with some old sneakers or something that's real pretty, and guess what? You start getting shin splints and you start getting knee problems. You start getting lower back problems because the shoes are not appropriate for exercise. So if you're running out here and say, well, okay, I'm going to start exercising tomorrow, I'm going to get a new pair of sneakers, go to a place like a running store, a Fleet Feed, something like that where they can actually watch how your feet are hitting the floor. I just had two clients who went out and spent money on sneakers, and they realized it was a great improvement for them because if you have someone running outside on concrete and their shoes are not appropriate, guess what? They're going to come back to you and say, "Oh, I've got pain. I've got this in my ankles, or I got this in the back of my leg, or I got lower back problems now." And it's basically nothing to do with what the training was about. It was more about what they were wearing at the same time. Now, getting started for getting ready for next year, there are other factors too. And I always ask this: how bad do you really want to get in shape? You know, how bad do you really want to say, I want that new lifestyle? I want to be better than I was. Because a person who says, well, I just want to get in shape so I can go on the cruise in May of next year, that's not getting in shape. That means that you just want to lose a few more pounds to look good in certain clothes. And then after that's over, you can go back to doing whatever you want to do. That is okay for some people, but guess what? Then you have to repeat it again if you're going away the next time. So when you start thinking about it, start saying that it's going to be a permanent thing. Find a schedule that's going to work for you and look at changing your lifestyle so that actually when you go on that trip or that cruise or whatever you're going to do, you don't have to sort of like kill yourself just to get prepared to go there.
Right. And I mean, and then for me, I can just say, because this is like kind of like a low key consultation, just letting you know.
I'll send you the bill later.
Okay. We can exchange. But yeah, it's like I totally agree with that because like it really is a lifestyle change because let's just say you're working out this whole time to go on that cruise or that special trip. You get there and you make completely horrible food choices. So you've worked all the way up there to make horrible food choices. You know what happens on these cruises. The food is everywhere and available all the time, especially with liquor. You get on there and you get sick. So it's like you ruin everything. So it's like, what about changing the eating habits, right? And then when you get to the cruise, you can still have a good time, but then you're not eating and destroying what you've built so hard for, worked so hard for the last 8 to 9 months just to get to the cruise and trash your diet.
Well, here's the thing. My belief is this: is that if you have changed your lifestyle to the point where your eating habits are consistent and your working out is consistent, then you cannot destroy something that you work on 52 weeks out of the year in 1 week on a cruise or say a holiday or something like that. You can't destroy that if you decide to do that. So if you haven't continued and if you don't come back from that and continue what you were doing before you went,
right,
then yeah, you have destroyed it. And that's what most people do. They work hard as they can up to whatever they want to do, getting into the new dress, going to the beach at a certain time. But when they come back after they've had this great time on the cruise, or they've gone Thanksgiving dinners, and they've gone through every holiday, and they've eaten something, because you can eat what you want on a holiday.
Right.
Okay. On a holiday.
On a holiday.
Okay.
But it's the excess. It's the excessive several days a week, all week for a long time that causes the problem. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no. What I'm saying is that if Thanksgiving is usually on a Thursday,
right?
Okay, and if you have eaten properly, or you're based on what your schedule is up until Wednesday, and then you decide on Thursday, okay, I'm going
full plate, go in.
Full plate, go in. And then you wake up on Friday and you go back to where you were. There won't be an effect on that.
Okay.
It's just that you've taken the time to enjoy what you wanted to enjoy. You got it out your system. It doesn't work that way where you destroy everything if you return.
Okay. So it's not like you're not completely losing if that's the case. Your body is set in a place already
Right.
and can bounce back. So if you do have that cheat day, cheat meal, as long as you continue with the clean eating after you had your cheat day or cheat meal, your body will be able to continue forward, because then your body has built up, I guess, what's the word you use in fitness?
You go back to your lifestyle.
Yeah, your lifestyle.
So it's become your lifestyle. So many people will say, well, I want to do this,
Mm-hmm.
but they do it up to that point, and then if you work on losing, say, 20 or 30 pounds, and say on Thanksgiving you decide you're going to eat whatever you want, and then you get up the next morning and you're back in the gym, jogging, working out, and the next 42 meals are back on your regimen, then
Mm-hmm.
you are not going to see a difference.
Okay.
But if you decide that, okay, now I've had Thanksgiving, now I'm going to the Friday night party and I'm going to eat, and then I'm going to go to the Sunday party, and then for the next 2 weeks, I'm just going to eat like crazy and not go back to where you were doing what you were doing. Yes, you're going to gain that weight. So,
Okay.
so if you, it's sort of like you fall off the wagon and you stayed off the wagon. You have to get back on it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I see with most people when they start talking about, well, I want to get in shape, I want to do this. There has to be a commitment to say, I can do this and I can enjoy life, but I have to be able to say, okay, I'm going to enjoy this, but I'm going to go over here and get back on
Mm-hmm.
track. And it's not going to take me 2 or 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like a person says, um, you might invite someone out to dinner and they go somewhere and it's one time, and they go out to dinner and they sit there and they eat as much as they want, and they're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I ate this. Well, if you're doing 6 small meals a day and now you come back and you say, okay, you know what? The next 42 meals are going to be correct
Mm-hmm.
after you've had this one bad, and you're back on your regimen, you're doing what you need to do. Guess what? You're going to be fine. But if you allow yourself not to stay on track or get back on track, then you're going to gain the weight back.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Do you believe, as a personal trainer with your knowledge and experience, that there is a science to the timing of how you eat that contributes to your weight loss? Do you know what I mean by that? Like, for example, does a person, so I'll just use my circumstance as the example because I don't mind putting myself out there. I have a work schedule that I get off of work at 8 o'clock at night.
Okay.
Okay. Which means I land home about maybe within an hour, or like by 9:30 at the latest, depending if I stop somewhere. I would then have to, I typically would want to eat something,
Okay.
but then I would go to sleep, which is how I typically would do it. So if you have a person that has this crazy wild work schedule that, you know, puts them in a place where they have to eat at a strange time, as a personal trainer, someone that would coach them on a nutrition tip, how would you coach them on the best times to eat so that they can be in compliance with good health? Because I know probably eating and then going to sleep is not a good idea.
Well, eating and going to sleep is definitely not a good idea. But the thing is that you have to understand that if you're coming home and you're eating and you're starving, then that's going to make you eat more.
Mm,
That's first thing. So if you have not had, say, 5 small meals or 6 small meals before you get home, you're going to be starving. Okay. The second thing is that it also depends on what you eat when you get home.
oh,
So if you're coming home and you got that steak over there and you got those potatoes, you got, that apple pie at the end of the night, oh yeah, pretty much you're going to be there. But if you're coming home and making that last meal of the day the lightest meal, then you're in control of that. So if you're coming home and you're saying you're having a small portion of protein and some cooked vegetables, then that's your dinner. And if your breakfast, your lunch has been the larger of the meals, along with your other in between meals, then you're in compliance. And also, if you worked out. Now, so if you want to eat, you still have to work out. And that's what most people don't understand. Well, I go home and I'm going to eat late. Well, work out. And the question is, have you worked out in the course of the day? So if you haven't done any of that, yeah, eating and just a bunch of food at late at night, yeah, you are going to gain weight, and you have to look at what you're doing and what you're eating. So first of all, it comes down to you looking at meal prepping and putting your when you're meal prepping, you want to choose a dish that's small enough to hold a certain amount of calories so that you're consistent. So most people, when they come home, they may say, okay, I'm hungry. They don't measure. They don't look at how much protein is on the plate, how many carbs are on the plate, and how many vegetables are on the plate. So if you're going to have a lifestyle like that, first of all, and you're including exercise, then you have to include meal prepping. And there are apps out there that you can go through and you punch your food in and you can see how many calories you consume, and then you know how many you need to consume at the end of the day. So that's the first thing is start meal prepping so that you're not coming home grabbing just anything. And that sounds like that's what you're doing. You're coming home and you're grabbing whatever you can because you're hungry at 8 or 9 o'clock at night.
Or like I'm doing like a full plate of food that's like equivalent of a dinner that you would typically eat between 4 and 6 p.m., which this is actually a real life scenario because my schedule is changing and I'll be coming home later at night during the fall and winter months. And I'm really concerned for myself because I want to be able to eat something, but I know that if I eat something and then lay down, that's going to cause a problem. So can I put what can I put in that place where if I come home and I'm like I'm blown, I'm tired, I'm already irritated from work, that's going to make me emotionally eat. But what can I put in that place to say, okay, well, at least I'll come home, I'll have something, it'll not only be low in calories but healthy, and I won't feel crazy going to bed.
Well, let me ask you a question. This is one of the things that comes into health coaching. What time do you start your day?
um my day will start, I'm just going to say, just for conversation's sake, 7 a.m. because I would have to get to work by quarter to 10. Okay. Or by 9:30.
Do you eat breakfast?
Yes, I will be eating breakfast.
Okay. And what do you usually have for breakfast?
A boiled egg. I'll just tell you what I like. I like
tell me what you had. Okay.
Oh, well, this morning I had a fiber bar and I had a granola bar. Okay. I had 2 bars. Okay. And I drank some orange juice.
Okay. What did you have for lunch?
For lunch I had pizza.
Okay. And what did you have for dinner?
I had a taco.
Okay. Let me ask you a question. Do you want to lose the weight?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Not eating that though. I know I'll have to change. Let's get that super clear. Like I'm trash, bro.
What?
I know I do. So this is like when you ask me what I eat now, it's gonna be like, no, absolutely not. Horrible.
I'm trying to figure out why. It sounds like you're trying to eat. You start off the day with healthy, and then after the rest of the day, it's like, let me grab whatever.
Yeah, because I'm hungry, or I just need to. If I don't eat, I turn into a monster. And so it's like, not a monster. That sounds really weird, but I'm just saying that. I mean, yeah, I get irritated because I know I need to eat and I didn't, or I feel like I'm starving. A breakfast that I do like to eat is I like to have 2 boiled eggs, some avocado, and I might add some sausage
Why?
because it tastes good.
Okay,
But
that's why most people have certain things in the
right,
morning, because it tastes good.
because it tastes good, not because it's healthy. And that's the type of coaching that I need. I need to know what are the best things to eat, and also what time of the day, because and other people that are listening may be in the same circumstance as me, where they are under a very strict schedule at work. So what I mean by that is I have 2 short breaks and a 30-minute lunch. So when I eat or take a break that I could grab a snack is timed, and I have to be back to my work within a certain amount of time. I don't have that leisure to doing or having everything. So when I go and I have my job and I come home late at night, I want to be able to definitely eat something before I leave work, or if I do eat when I come home, like what is the best thing to do?
Well, here's what I would do as far as coaching you with the eating part. First, you have to look at what you're eating, and I would go through and say, okay, let's talk about what you're eating now, and then let's talk about how we can change that to get you into a weight loss eating plan. Okay, because that's your goal. The second thing is there any exercise included in your weekly plan?
Okay.
So that would be the second thing, because we can get you eating, and most fitness apps will take you through how many calories you need to eat. But then what most people don't realize is that, say for example, you might have a set calorie of 1200, but when you add in the exercise calories, then you're actually going to be able to eat a little bit more in the course of the day than your required calories, so that your body is still getting sufficient amount of nutrients that you need. But what happens is that there is, right now you have no clue of how many calories you're burning. Right. Mm-hmm. There's an app called Lose It, which you put on your phone, and you would punch in what you're eating, and you can see exactly what your calorie intake is all day long, and it'll show your sodium. And you don't have to actually type in the food. If you type in a certain restaurant and you've been there, you can pull up that restaurant, and whatever meal, it'll show the calories. So you can scan the back of a box or can or something like that, and it'll take that scan and tell you how many calories, sodium, and everything is in there. And then you can say how much of that particular box or whatever it was, cereal box, whatever, how much you actually use without having to sit there and type it in every day. So that's something that I would look at for you and say, okay, well, how many calories do we need to consume? And then can you get most of your carbs in before the last 2 meals of the day based on your schedule? Because, see, you're getting up and you're eating light to get through the morning and the afternoon, and then you're coming home and you're piling it on. That doesn't work for weight loss unless you're planning on leaving your house again and going to the gym and getting on the treadmill and burning off another 500 to 600 calories.
Am I okay? I'm not on. So would you recommend that in my case that I would insert a workout before I go to bed or after I eat at late at night, like a short, like maybe like 15 to 20 minute quick?
Let me say, workouts work when you can fit them in. So
Okay.
if you say, you know what, I can come home, I can go downstairs and get on my treadmill for 20 minutes. If that works in your lifestyle, that's what's going to work. That's
Okay.
that's that's the thing that most people say. Well, I can't do something at 5 o'clock in the morning, but I can do something at 5 o'clock in the evening. If
Hmm.
that works for you, then that's going to have to work for you because that's going to be your lifestyle, and that's what you're going to have to work around.
Okay.
So, um, when you can do it is when it's going to work. That's the
Okay.
only way. So that's what I would suggest. So if you're saying, hey, I get off of work, I can go to the gym or I can go to home and I can get on my treadmill for 20 or 30 minutes. If that's what works for your schedule, then put it in there.
Okay.
If there's not a set time, because I mean, that's why gyms are now open 24/7
Hmm.
because people have different lifestyles and people can, they may get off at 12 midnight and they go to the
Yeah.
gym.
Nurses,
Right.
doctors.
So, or they may get off. They get off at
Yeah.
7 o'clock in the morning from an 11 to 7 shift. So it fits when you can fit it in, and that's how you want to do it. So, but you don't want to miss it. So if it's 8 o'clock at night, yeah, do it. If you don't have to be to work until a certain time the next day, and you can still get sufficient amount of sleep, then go ahead and fit it in.
Okay. Yeah.
But get it in, and just say, and give it as much time as you can.
Hmm.
If you're saying, hey, I'm doing 15 minutes a day, that's a start.
Yeah.
So that's the start. So if that's all you can give it is 15 minutes a day,
Yeah.
because there are workouts that I can design for people that 15 minutes can feel like 45 minutes based on what we're doing. So
Yeah.
yeah, so it can be done. I mean, if you say for example, take a heavy bag and you hang it in your basement and you go down there and you do like 3 minutes of punching,
Hmm.
you know, that is a real workout because you're punching that bag for like 3 minutes, and it's people don't think you're working your full body. If you just go downstairs and say run in place for 60 seconds, do something else for 60 seconds, come back, a 10-minute workout of constant movement is going to be sufficient, and you can burn maybe 200 to 300 calories depending on how much energy you're putting into it. So at at my gym, we have a monitoring system where we can look at your heart rate and how many calories you're burning. So we
Hmm.
have people who come in who have done at least 1,000 calories in like an hour just because of the workout they're moving with. And then some people, depending on how much energy, they may only do like 400 or 500 calories. But the fact is, you get it in. The thing that most people need to remember is that to burn off a pound or to lose a pound of weight, you've got to burn off 3,500 calories. So that's what you're looking at every time. So if you're,
Let me do the math. Hold on.
yeah,
Hold on. I will not be saying my weight on camera or online so y'all can talk about me. But that's really so you said so hold on.
for every pound, it takes 3,500 calories.
3,500
Calories is a
per
pound.
pound.
Is a pound.
Mm,
Right.
holy moly.
So you're
So
looking at how many calories you need to burn to take off
yeah,
a certain amount of weight.
it's a lot.
Well,
But hey, listen, you know, par for the course. It's a part of what you have to do because it's like, for anybody, you want to for me it's about not about the number one scale, but it is about the number one scale to a certain point. I want to feel better and I want to look better too. So, it depends on the person. For me, it's definitely health because my parents and in my family medical history,
mhm.
uh, it's rough, and I at least want to give myself a chance on many many levels. So it's like knowing that it's like when I look at the numbers, it's like yikes, that's a lot, but it
Well,
is what it is.
it's a lot if you look at it in a bulk situation, but it's not a lot if you look at it as breaking it down into smaller portions of saying, looking at, okay, if I say to you, okay, I want you to lose 60 pounds in a year,
Okay.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
which is going to break down to 5 pounds a month.
Okay, that's
Okay.
reasonable.
All right.
Safe.
It's reasonable and safe. But the average is that most people want you to lose 8 pounds a month, which is still safe.
Yes.
Okay. And that's the goal that you want to shoot for. And that's how you really want to break it down. So, but if you go in there and you keep looking at that large number and don't break it down and say, and set some goals for yourself,
Okay.
then you won't do it because you're still focusing on that one number that
Mm-hmm.
you see. And you say, well, yeah, this is what I weigh and I really want to lose, 60 pounds. And no, you really want to lose the first five.
Okay.
Okay. Because if you can learn to lose the first five and not regain it, then you can keep going. Most people never learn to lose the first five
Mm-hmm.
and what they have to do. In some cases, it's food elimination. In some cases, totally changing their whole eating habits, um, upgrading their workout schedule, or just starting one is the other thing. And finding one that you can do and stay consistent with it. I
Mm-hmm.
tell people, they say, well, um, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to do this. But if you know that in the wintertime, you are not a person who's going to come out of the house
Right.
and go to the gym, then you might want to find a way to do something in your house or have a personal trainer come to your house,
Right.
you know. And and let me say this about personal training. What I find is that most people who have a personal trainer or work with a personal trainer, they are consistent because number one, if you tell me to show up at your house to train you, I'm going to show up at the time that you tell me to show up. So your excuse is that you're either going to have to not come downstairs and open the door or something like that. But it's holding you accountable that okay, this is the time I'm going to work out. This I don't have to think about it. This is what I'm going to do, and we're going to make it happen. So you want to be accountable for that. The other thing is, say if you join a group class with a personal trainer, then bring a partner along. Now, what I find too is that a lot of times one of the two may not stick, but at least start out with someone who's going to be there with you to work out with you, be encouragement, want to push you. And so start that way
Right.
also in a group class. But most group classes, you'll find that it'll be like a community for you.
Yeah.
Once you get in, you're introduced to everybody. Everybody's talking about what they're trying to do, um, and it works well. So join a group.
The dance classes I've been in, I love dance.
Mhm.
I've danced since I was 5. So doing like the group workouts or the dance classes have been my best. I feel have been my best times working out. Like for me, I can speak to myself and say that, once I get into a workout schedule, I'm good. I'm pretty good with it. I might moan and groan like anybody else would, but like I look forward to it. I think I do best in group settings. It's when if I go into a gym by myself, I'm completely anxious and intimidated because
And
it's
most
like,
and most people are because you got 100 machines and they change up every year to look pretty. They change up
yeah,
to accommodate certain people, and most people, if they've never been in the gym, need to, like I said, have
they
someone
need a guide.
need a guide, or at least sit down and watch a video on what they want to do
Right.
to see what's safe. But you also look at getting a physical too, because a lot of times people go to the gym and they come back and say, "Well, I'm sore. This is hurting. That's hurting."
Yeah, I think I
Well,
need that because
yeah, get a physical.
I
And
would
say,
be a hot gangster mess. Can I ask you a weird question?
"Sure, you can."
Let me ask you this really weird question. Have you ever in your career, ever met a client that you worked out with for a considerable amount of time,
Mhm.
and they never lost weight? Never.
Yes,
That has happened?
yes,
Okay.
and
What do you think? I mean, I don't want you to put your person's business out there, but
No,
was it,
because there
what do you think it was?
well, here's the thing, and actually, a client helped me understand this one day. A personal trainer is your coach.
Hmm.
Okay, they are not your guardian. They are not your parents. They are not um, they're 24/7. Okay, so you can come to me and we can work out for an hour. We can work out for 2 hours, and you can go home and eat a bucket of chicken. Okay, and so what my client taught me was one time is that sometimes your personal trainer will be more concerned about you losing weight than you are. So they will give you, and most trainers will do, they'll give you all the information that they can. And if you don't implement it and do at least 60 to 70% of it, you're not going to see any results. Because some people, I have sat down with someone and we've gone through foods that they can eat, shown them the foods that they like, put a whole eating schedule together, and said, okay, this is all you need to do. This is what you need to follow. And giving them something, most trainers, they will have something that has always been proven that it'll work. Okay. For most people, maybe not for everybody, but for most people, it will work. But there's certain factors that have to go into it is whether the person leaves and goes home and does the homework. You only spend maybe, think about it, you may spend maximum 5 hours a week with a trainer.
Hmm.
Okay. But you still got the rest of the time to go home, eat late at night, go out, hang out with your friends, drink as much as you want, and do all of that. So you will not show the result that you want. So yeah, so trainers do see that. And at some point the trainer says, look, you're making me look bad. I can't train you. You
Mm.
know, because that's what it is. I mean, we're looking for results. We're looking for someone to walk past our clients and say, "Hey, you look like you lost 5 pounds," you know, or "Hey, you got a lot more energy." So those things, if those things are not happening with our client, then that means the client is not doing something. And so if you're not losing the weight, now the other side of that, there could be some medical problems, okay, that the client hasn't told you about. And that happens. So you may exercise as much as you want, but because of a medical condition, you're not able to take the weight off because your medication is causing you to gain weight. But that has to be known.
Right. So what about, because I've heard of situations like that, and I feel like that actually was my situation with my one of my last trainers. She did a fabulous job. Like kudos to her. Like, but
Mm-hmm.
I also feel like there was some nutritional things that I didn't change.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I also have polycystic ovary syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you know about that? And the thing is, it's like that also impacts women because I've heard from many people that suffer from PCOS,
Mm-hmm.
like um, it's hard to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
You could be working out and eating clean, you know, 3, 4 to 5 times a week,
Mm-hmm.
and just it's not happening.
Right.
So it's like, how do you resolve that within yourself as a trainer? It's just like you're knowing this person is doing, if you know this person is doing the right thing, they're telling you doing the right thing, and then you know that they're doing their best in their workouts and it's just not happening for him or her. How do you resolve that in your mind? Or what, like, is there any resolution for the person?
There is a resolution, but then it goes back to the medical side because the trainer can only do but so much. But if there is something that is medically wrong that is stopping this person from losing weight, then that's easier to look at. And let's say if you're coming in and the numbers are not changing as far as your weight on the scale, but you're coming in, you're feeling a lot stronger, you're not having as many aches and pain as you had before, that can be an improvement. And if you're changing your eating habits and doing different things, then that is an improvement on your part, and it is something that has been achieved. So now, what suggested is that then the trainer has to say, okay, you know what? Now let's talk to your doctor and say, your blood pressure is down. You offer your cholesterol medicine because of what you're doing. How do we address the problem that you have now, and what can we do about it?
Mm-hmm.
And go from there, because that's the only thing. I mean, the trainer can do as much as he can with what he's working with. But if there's
Right.
something medically wrong that
That's
is
when it's
hindered,
the doctors
is
come
the
in.
doctors comes in, because because there's some people that I know that you can't work with because of their medical problem. There's
Yeah.
just certain things that you can't do, and so it's very important that the trainer says to the client, "Tell me everything, so that I'll know what's going on or what's not going on."
Mm-hmm.
And in that case, you have to say to that trainer, "Look, I'm not going to drop weight as quickly as you think I should. Okay. But I will maybe show where we're looking for 8 pounds. I may only show 4 pounds a month because of the medical situation." And that's what has to happen. And so that trainer can
Okay.
understand what's going to happen to you, and they're going to train you safely.
Okay. So that allows you to adjust your expectations as a
Right.
trainer, and then it allows, the client full disclosure to say, okay, well, not to have too high of hopes, but anything could be possible, I
Yeah.
guess. Because there's been people that have been able to lose lots of weight. I
Mhm.
mean, I've seen it myself. I had one friend who lost 100 pounds in 9 months,
Mhm.
which is amazing.
And I've had clients who have actually lost about 80 to 90 pounds in over a 6 month period. But it was
Yeah.
because it was possible for them to do it, and because they were very strict about their regimen, and they were very strict about their eating habits. And they still are. So now they're doing bodybuilding contests.
Oh,
So
they actually gone to do like the
yeah, they went
competitions.
from they went from 100 pounds overweight to now they're doing figure um, competitions.
Wow, that's
So
crazy.
yeah, so
I can't say I would want to do that, but I would
well,
love to look. I would
well,
love to look
probably
close to that.
when she started, um, it wasn't a thought, but it was something that once she realized, and with it's also what I realized with that particular client is that it's a mindset thing
Uh huh.
that you have to
True.
look at and say, okay, this is something I want to do, and you have to make it a part of your life in order to do it. And if you don't, it doesn't happen. It's more of a
Mm-hmm.
mental thing to get up in the morning and talk yourself out of bed and go in, put on some clothes and say, I'm going to go work out, and actually do it. And then come back and eat the meals that are going to get you to that goal. Because a lot of people will not eat the meals to get there. They get influenced either by their friends, their family. The one thing that you'll find sometimes when people start losing weight um, is that their friends or their close friends will look at them and say, "You're getting too skinny," and this can be a spouse, it can be a friend that you hang out with, it can just be a family member who doesn't work out at all, but they look at you and say, "Oh, you're getting too skinny." But you're out here feeling great now, and because you've gotten down to a smaller size, they think you're too small because of what they believe,
Right, or what they're used to
what they're
you
used to and seeing you.
seeing.
Right.
Hmm.
So um, it depends on where your mind is at when you go into the situation and what you're going to be determined to do. And once you set your goal and you've broken it down into smaller parts, then you just go for it. But you have to, and you have to also, a lot of times, ladies will come into a gym. Weights are good for you.
Yes,
Okay.
they are.
Weights are good for you
Hmm.
because they walk in the first day, well, I don't want to bulk up. Well, ladies, let me say this. In order for you to bulk up, you first have to change your eating habits a whole lot. And you have to be determined to work out. And if bulking up and having a slimmer look and some definition in your arms and your legs and your abs, if that's what you're afraid of, in most cases, it's just that you're looking a lot healthier
Yeah.
for that.
I think that people, some women equivalate muscles with looking manly. And I think that's like a really ignorant or, it's not really like the best way to look at it. I love, I would love to look athletic. I think that's a really beautiful figure because, and it's different versions of athletic. Like you can either be Serena Williams athletic, or you can be a very nice and petite Misty Copeland ballerina
Right.
athletic. You pick your poison. I would like a nice balance of the both. You can come out hardcore like an MMA fighter, or you can be nice and sculpted like a Misty Copeland, like a ballet dancer. So yeah, it's really, you can really kind of create your own body. That's what I've discovered or seen with other women. And I also think it does aid in like uh how your clothes look. I mean, us ladies, like we want to, the reason why a lot of us want to lose weight, of course, for the health reasons, but we want to look nice. It's very it's a little bit of vanity there.
There's a lot of vanity in there, and there's a lot of, everybody is not going to be the the petite that we think about, that we try to associate with healthy. But if you're looking at yourself and you're saying, you know what, I'm carrying too much body weight, I'm carrying too much body fat, then yeah, there's time to do something about it, because your joints are not going to allow you to carry that um, for a long period of time without causing some problems. It's just not going to happen. So that's the reason I tell folks, to get the body fat off, is because yeah, you're not, you come in young, and and then you see people who like can barely walk through an airport. They can, there's certain things that they just can't do. So they have to start changing that lifestyle to get the body fat off. And the other myth is that people have a myth about carbs and they don't want to eat them, which I find should not be the case. Carbs are a part of your food group. Carbs are a part of the foods that you eat that you need. And if you're going to start working out, you need the carbs in your system for energy. Okay. You have proteins that you eat help with the muscle development, but the carbs have to be there for your energy. If not, your body, which is smarter than you, will take the protein and use it as your energy because you haven't given it any carbs to work from. So that's another thing. That's why I tell folks, you want to put the carbs in your body while you're moving. So when you get up in the morning,
Okay.
you can carb load. So you want to put some carbs in that breakfast. You want to put some carbs in that lunch. Probably those first 4 meals. You want
So
to,
the fiber bar with a little bit of carbs is cool.
well, I would say a little bit more.
More
You
than
know,
that.
I mean, if you're looking at, say, if you're looking at a 1,200 calorie day, then you want to have 300 to 400 calories, um, and the fiber bar might do it. But once you start working out, your body's going to start burning more. And here's another thing that most people don't think about. When you're doing cardio, say like if I send you out here and I say, okay, run up and down those steps 10 times for me, and say you burn 100 calories. Okay. When you finish and you stop and your heart rate goes back down, that calorie burning process at that level is now done. So you're not going to be burning those 100 calories just by walking around at that level anymore. But when you go to work out with weights, resistance training, all of that, you're working your muscles, and they're tearing apart, and then they have to regroup. They have to be fed with water, protein, in order for you to function. So you start feeling some soreness in the beginning, but after a while you don't. But what's happening is your calories are still, you're still burning calories, for about 24 hours because your muscles are coming back together. So if you're not feeding those muscles, then you're not doing the right thing for them. So when people go and don't put the protein in there, don't drink a sufficient amount of water, and they don't see the muscle development that they want, it's because they're not eating the proper foods to do that. So you definitely want to do that. And you actually will find that you will burn more calories with the weight training because you're going to be burning them longer.
Okay. Yeah, because that's what my last trainer did. We
Mhm.
were heavy on the weight training, and I actually enjoyed it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I could definitely feel myself getting stronger. We did a combination of that, and we had dance classes. Because she liked to dance also, so that kind of helped me too. Because
Right.
we put the music on, just go for it. Um, One of my favorite comedians, Monique. I don't know if you follow her.
Mhm. Used to work
She's
with her.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Awesome.
we
So
did MCI.
okay, yeah, she has in her fitness journey, she has a dance trainer also.
Mhm.
She has a personal trainer like yourself,
Mhm.
and then she has a guy that strictly does like her
Dance.
dance classes.
Mhm.
And it's just her and him just doing like dance steps and routines, and they dance for like an hour. She puts it online. I think that's so cool.
Well, that's it's a good thing. And most classes that I see, I tell folks, if you're going to go, first of all, make sure that you're on the front row.
Yeah.
Okay. And the reason I say that is because you watch some people, they have a dance class, the front row is moving, the second row is moving. The closer it gets to the back, a lot of people are not moving as much. So you want to get closer to the front so that you keep moving, and you're working with a group that's probably more fit than you or been there a lot more. So you want to be in a room and be close to folks who are going to push you. And
Right.
that's how you want to do that. So let's talk about at my gym, there's certain pieces of equipment I use. I use weights. I also use the Chuck Norris Total Gym, which I find is sufficient for everyone.
Chuck
It,
Norris.
yes, yes. It's the Total Gym XLS. The thing that I love about it is that it has up to 85 different exercises that I can do on it without moving a person around. The other great thing is that Chuck has been using this machine since 1973, and now he's almost in his 70s also, and he's still able to use it. So that's what I use in my gym. But I have the free weights. We have a heavy bag, and we have a calorie and heart rate monitoring system, which okay, which allows a person to come in, and when I'm watching them, I can see where their heart rate goes. That's another thing too. When you're working out, you want to stay in a certain what we call fat burning zone, conditioning zone, because you're able to sustain that. And most people think just because they're sweating that they're working out. No, not really. You're
No.
sweating because you may be out of shape or the room may be too hot or whatever. But when I can look at the screen and I see someone in the green, that means they're right in that zone. They're burning calories. They're going to be able to sustain that no matter what they're doing. So I can put them on a rower, have them go for 5 minutes. They stay in a certain zone. I can have them punching on the bag. They are in a certain zone. It's great. Once they hit that red, it's like you're trying to do a sprint uphill. It's not going to be sustained for a long time. So you let them come back down, and they're able to work out a lot longer and get the calorie count that they want. And they can leave, and they're not feeling like they're injured or anything like that, because that's a very important thing with when you're working out is what zone you're in. So if you have a Fitbit or if you have other devices that you want to watch your heart rate zone. So now I hope that everybody understands, and I hope to see you at Tony Reed Fitness Management, which is located at 3 Greenwood Place in Pikesville, Maryland, 21208. Phone number is 443-831-1294. Before we leave tonight, I know we started out our show. If you've been joining me for the last 6 weeks, you have seen me talk about Life Changer. Life Changer, we now have our caps. We have our t-shirts. So if you'd like to support the show, you can purchase them online or inbox me at tonyreedfitnessmanagement.com, or you can call me at 443-831-1294. Starting on October 2nd, the Man Cave will be joining Worldwide Flavor Network.
Woo!
So they also will have their caps. They will be sold at the Man Cave at New Somnus, and they will also be sold online. So you can reach me at 443 or go to my Facebook page and ask for the shirts that you need, so that way you can support both radio shows. So if you have any other question about fitness, you can give me a call at 443-831-1294. If you'd like to set up an appointment, you can go to my page at TonyReedFitnessManagement.com and request a free assessment and consultation, and you can stop in and we can give you a workout. So this concludes tonight's show. Thank you very much for helping me out.
You're more than
I
welcome.
hope that I answered all your questions, and we're going to see you in the gym in a couple of weeks, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a great evening. I'm out.